Okay, this is Gary from High Tech. Today we're going to do the 2012 Ford Focus. This car, I had the lock out already. I'm going to show you how to take it apart. Basically, we're going to tip this piece up. This plastic's going to come off. I've already taken the true arc ring off, which is, this lovely little piece. And then we're going to take off the other parts accordingly. So I just gently lifted the tab underneath here, right here, and took it out. Not real hard. I took the true arc ring off. This is the first plate. It comes off. I would let you notice that there is a groove here on the end. It has to go back the same way it comes off, so be very careful. Let you know how that comes apart. As you can see, the second part is just loose in there, so when you reassemble it, this tab is the driver that sets in this piece. Okay. Next is this. It is just a piece that holds in the pin. It just pushes out, flat blade. That's a picture of that. It was in this slot right here. When you do the reassembly, you do have to make sure that groove is up at the top. Next, we're going to take out the two pieces. I've loosened them up already. This one here sets in a groove, and then there's the other one I've pre-drilled the hole for. And as you can see, you drill it close to the bottom and it will push up the second one. That is the one that people have trouble getting to. If you put it in this position right here, just above the manufacturer's marking, where where the molding is, you'll come out right every time. I used about a the 3/32 drill bit's fine, and it'll actually pop it up for you. Then you just pry it out. I'm going to take those two parts out and we'll move on from there. Okay, these are the two parts I took out. This is the assembly. It just slides through. Now, I do know that we're dealing with used cars here, guys, and there's a little bit of rust and corrosion that gets up in here. So you might want to oil this area before you try pushing it out. Might make it a little easier, because on this particular type metal, it does tend to stick. And then you think you got a different problem, and it's nothing more than just some corrosion that's stuck between here and the housing. And then we just, take this apart. Okay, now as with any lock disassembly, you always want to stick even if it's not cut properly for the cylinder, stick a key in there so you don't get that rainbow effect of taking this thing apart. It comes out like so. I will tell you guys, I did have to lube the cylinder because it was pretty well corroded. And then I'll show you the wafers. We have decoded it, and I'll show you what one of those looks like. Okay, now to eliminate confusion with some guys when they're trying to put these back together, the reason why you should take them out and lay them out in the same pattern, like 1 through 10, is because of this. These are both number 5s. They both came out of the back. You notice it's 5-5. You notice that the place where the groove rests is in a different position. That's because one's on the left side, one's on the right side. You need to be careful about when you take these out to put them out and decode them, because if you don't put them back in right, your key won't fit in. We have made the key for this. This is the key, and we're going to reassemble it now. Okay, on reassembly, coming over into this light, you will notice that this is a clamshell piece. In other words, you don't put the piece in right, it don't fit right. This part is raised on this part, and this part is raised on this part, so they fit together kind of like a glove. Now we reassemble it back into the cylinder and put it back together. You will notice that you cannot use the key to stick it back in there, it won't fit. So once you take your key out, you have to assemble it. And like I told you before, this part here has to fit down here, just like so. And that little half moon has to show up in this part right here in order to put this piece back in. And this tit is facing out and down because this fits in that groove. And you'll also notice that there's a little raised area over here, and it's the same as what the piece is going back in. Okay. Now, this part, you notice it has a raised piece. It's going to go and set in this groove right here, but it's going to be facing up. This part has the second half of that groove, and it has to fit in there the same exact way, or else it just doesn't go back together. These are the few pitfalls that people fall into. Just trying to help you with that before you see that for yourselves. Next is the grooving. You'll have to put those two flat pieces in both here and in this area. Now I do keep a small pair of hemostats around just for small pieces like this. It's going to fit up in this housing in here to place my small piece back in that groove. Because as you can see, placement would be kind of a juggling act if you didn't have that. You press it down, put the rest back together, put it back in the car. Now we've decoded a 2012 Ford Focus.